even his mistakes aren't going to be the big ones, right? He'll get beat, but he'll get beat in ways that are predictable for Deshaun Watson, so he can get up out of there.
Man, welcome on into the barbershop, man. You know I had to bring him back, man. We did major numbers. Hey, listen, we're going to get this brother. I had to call him. I said, listen, don't worry about it. We get you back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. They beating my ears up. My man, Quincy Carrier's in the building. What's going on, my guy?
Good, man. Good. Always good to be in the shop. You know, I wish my cup was a little cleaner, but you know, it is what it is. It was.
He's the one told me, listen, and don't worry, I got trying to get my curl together, like right here, like as you can see, I'm trying to get my Carl Thomas.
That's what you. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna let it live. I'm gonna let it live. You know what I mean? I ain't going. I'm gonna let it live.
Hey, you know what we're gonna let live is Deshaun Watson. Now, I had to get you on the line to talk about this because we've been, you know, everybody's saying what is the Deshaun Watson bar, right? Like we talk about the, you know, what he's going to do on the field. We talk about, and I always ask people when they say we need the elite Deshaun Watson, the top 5 Deshaun Watson, the old Houston Deshaun Watson. And I said, well, okay, well, let's drill down on this. Obviously, you might have not liked the way he played, or you saw the way he played against in the first game. I said, but you can't use that because guess what? Joe Burrow played even worse. And we've had multiple people come out and talk about the weather. But overall, in general, what is the elite Deshaun Watson? Is it a number? Is it a touchdown mark? Is it the team playing well? Is it the eye test? My question to you is, when will it be good enough, or what will satisfy the critics when they say we want him to play like 230 million, Quincy, when you hear that question?
Well, I mean, if 230 million, that's only what, the 7th or 8th highest paid quarterback in the league. So, you know, I don't know if they're going to hold him to that standard, because like as much as we've heard about the contract has not been a big deal for like 2 years, right? Like that's not the Browns have like a $45 million average on that contract. You know who has a $42 million average? Daniel Jones. Okay.
And we never hear about him.
That man had the worst opening week of all time, and nobody's like on Fox Sports like, oh, well, you gotta live the money. I expect 300 yards every day.
And then the dude who's the highest paid, he played horrible, and they still
82 yards, and you don't hear none of it. Well, you know, he has the benefit of the doubt, and that's why he has the contract. As if Deshaun Watson just came out of college and got 230 million, right?
Like first year, he's a rookie now.
Hey, he's a 27-year-old rookie. And sometimes it feels like that, right? But that's it. I don't know. With some of this stuff with Deshaun, like, you know, until it becomes super undeniable, until he's in that perennial Super Bowl contender conversation, perennial MVP conversation, people are gonna say, oh, this and that. But honestly, the two factors have really factored into why I think he's probably, if he has like a good game, people are going to just nationally leave it alone, because one, the contract's not that big of a deal anymore. It's not the sticking point that people thought it was, right? Because everybody goes to fully guaranteed. Hey, G. Bush, what quarterback that's paid top 7 in the NFL is getting cut?
Thank you so much for telling me. Like, this is why I get you on sometimes, just to prove that I'm not the only crazy guy out there. What quarterback that got a big contract over 200 million gets cut? None of them.
The last one was Peyton Manning, and that's because he got no neck and they lucked into Andrew Luck.
That's it. That's all. That's all. They get all of that money.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's getting all of that 270 something million. The Bengals are not cutting Joe Burrow. So like, so many people get worked up over the guaranteed money. It was actually a smart deal by the Cleveland Browns, because since they gave him the guaranteed money, they didn't have to give him the giant deal, right? The Aaron Rodgers deal,
right?
By the way,
which kind of crazy.
The Jets are still paying that.
Kind of crazy.
And he's 39, coming off an Achilles injury. Also, Russ got more overall money than Deshaun. Nobody talked about that, right?
I mean, Dak was the highest paid for a little bit. We're not talking about who Dak is. I'm
just saying. So when it comes to living up to the contract, when it comes to living up to him, like it just for Deshaun, one, you're gonna be able to tell because like how the ball moves, how the offense feels when he's out there. If the weather's good, you'll expect 4,000 yards. That's obvious. You expect like what do I have up here for him? 8 rushing touchdowns, 500 yards rushing, 4,200 yards, and like at least 27 touchdowns. I kind of want him. Like I don't care if he ever throws for 5,000 yards again or gets to 4,800 again. I could care less about the total yard number. I want to see those touchdown numbers be above 30, right? Like 33. That's where you want to see 35, 36. You know what I mean? That's where you want to see him have those great touchdown to interception ratios because that's gonna mean great football is being played and winning football is being played for Deshaun. So I think, it matters what that ratio is. You want to see him consistently get over 35 touchdowns, play to that level. I think the one thing for him to get to elite with Deshaun, is I think that the one thing holding him back has been his sack numbers, right? Yeah, he's always been above 40 sacks. You look at Joe Burrow, you look at Pat Mahomes, you look at even Josh Allen, who gets criticized for taking a lot of sacks. They never get above that 40 sacks for a season. Deshaun's consistently been over 40. The only 2 seasons he hasn't been over 40 are the 2 seasons he played 6 games apiece, his rookie year and last year, and he got 20 and 6 both of those years. So just way too many sacks per game. Then that's just the kind of stuff that puts you behind the sticks, and that's why his touchdown numbers from a passing perspective, I don't think have been what they should be because he's an accurate enough passer and a smart enough passer that he should have those numbers. It's the sack numbers that are getting him out of scoring range a lot of times. So that's the thing with Deshaun that I want to see him take care of this year is those sack numbers, and those sack numbers are down and those touchdown numbers are up. I don't care what anything, and as long as the interceptions aren't crazy, if those 3 things are good, then he's obviously having a good year. I could care less what anybody else says. And they're like, oh, well, he didn't match his yard total. Who gives a fuck? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss on you. But
we at that point. We at that point where it's just tiresome.
Yeah, like who cares? You know what I mean? As long as the team's winning, as long as he's being productive in those wins, then all the other stuff is the other stuff with him. And I think he's confident that he's going to get there. I think Kevin's confident. I think the offense is confident. Look, he wasn't shook by that game last week at all. He's actually encouraged by it. So I don't understand why so many people who are so shook about it. And I say shook with air quotes because they're not. They're just choosing to be shook about it. Because again, Joe Burrow threw for 82 yards. People are like, yeah, but the weather, Deshaun Watson, though, you got to be concerned. And then you go back to the 6 games. It's like you're doing a deep dive on this, but you just hand waved an 82-yard performance. It is what it is. We know how people are operating with this whole thing. It's more or less people hope that Deshaun Watson's not good, not that they actually think he's not going to be good.
Let's dip on the other side of not even on the other side of the football. Let's stay on the offensive side of the football. I wasn't a big fan of the Jack Conklin deal. It looks like he's going to be out for the year. The one thing I'm a big fan of DeJuan Jones. I know he's not perfect, but he has a very unique skill set. The length of his arms, the way he can move and move his feet, and pass rushing opportunities. I think he's a guy that can, with the right tutelage, can be a dude, right? He could be one of those guys. Coming up in this game, are you kind of scared? People say TJ Watt's going to be over him. What's your thought on DeJuan Jones, how he's played so far? And do you think they found a guy that could be a Pro Bowler in the future?
I'm going to replace the term pro ready for draft prospects because I think that term has proven to be garbage over the years, like pure garbage. And what I think is a better term is margin of error. How much margin of error he has. You look at quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson looked the best out there. Why? He has a wide margin of error. Why? Because he's 6'5", he can run fast, and can't nobody tackle him, right? If he can't do nothing, he can do that. Bryce Young, on the other end of that spectrum, looked terrible, right? Because if he can't do his thing, throwing the ball, he can't do nothing. Mm-hmm. So that's where I give margin of error when it comes to these draft picks. The thing everybody got wrong about DeJuan is they're trying to see how similar he is to this guy or this guy. He has the biggest margin of error of any offensive tackle in that draft because he has the longest wingspan of any offensive tackle, Bush, ever. And he's giant. He is 6'6". Like, legitimately, if he was in WWE, they would act like he's 7 foot tall.
He's 6'8".
Yeah, he's like, the Big Show is the same size as him.
Yeah.
Like in real life. Big Show ain't 700 pounds, like 7 feet. Yeah, 500 pounds in real life. But like, DeJuan Jones, if he was in WWE, they'd be like, he's 700 something pounds, 7 foot tall, all that stuff, right? So, yeah, he's that big. And he can move well enough to where his size is a problem, right? Some guys are big, but they're concrete walls. They're built into the ground. They can't move, right? Yes. Daniel Fale is a great example of this. The guy that the Ravens drafted, hated him in his Senior Bowl because he was letting dudes get to his chest. Can't stand a big tackle that plays soft. DeJuan's not that. Right? DeJuan is a moving wall. It's like, what if you could take a highway divider and put it on wheels and just block with that? That's what it's like out there. And he has such a high margin of error that's the perfect guy to play early in his career because even his mistakes aren't going to be the big ones, right? He'll get beat, but he'll get beat in ways that are predictable for Deshaun Watson so he can get up out of there. Right. That's why you had Deshaun Watson. You're like, okay, I can see this right now. He's overset. He overset early in his drop. He plays right tackle, so I could peek at him. All right, let me just get out of here, fill that space, dump it off, move the game on. Right. So, that's the thing where you want with the tackle. If you're going to get beat predictable. And I think he has such a wide margin of error that if he does get beat, it's going to be ways that like there's only but so many ways you can beat a dude built like DeJuan Jones. Right. Even if you're TJ Watt, there's only so many ways you could do that. So, I think he's going to be fine. And the earlier he plays, I think the better because, again, those wide margin of error guys, those are the guys you want game reps because those are the guys you're not going to break if they're not the best early because they have so much to fall back on. They're just going to learn more about what they can't get away with their size, and that's just going to make them better. Guys with low margins of error, guys like the Jordan Loves of the world at quarterback, where, hey, look, we didn't know what that was going to be early on. He sat for 4 years, got to a point where he's comfortable. Now he's fine. So everybody's different. And I think we're going to see a trend of these not flashy guys are going to be the ones that take a while to become starters in the NFL. And then the ones that are super flashy, those guys are going to play right away because those are the guys who can play right away because their athletic gifts, their natural gifts give them a wide margin of error in football.
Now tell me about Jedrick Wills. Now tell me about the error.
It was rough.
Tell me about the error margin again with Jed. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to feel like I'm beating up on Jed. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go there. I will say with Jed, he does not have some of the characteristics or the elite traits that DeJuan Jones has. And I'm not comparing those two necessarily. When you look at Jedrick Wills and you look at his progression, I thought his best year was his first year. I think that when he knows what he's doing, he can be an average tackle. Sometimes it looks like he doesn't know his assignment, and then sometimes the motor part gets him. Is Jedrick Wills the weak link up front, and is it going to cost them, or can they mask that enough to get around that? Because Nick Chubb is going to make the first guy miss in the run game anyway. Deshaun Watson can move around, and we talked about him extended plays. Is he going to be a problem or nah? I
think it's all up to Jed and Deshaun, right? Right now, their two styles aren't complementing each other. Jed's not doing things that's not making Deshaun's life easy. Deshaun's doing things that's not making Jed's life easy. They have to get together, figure out, okay, Jed, real talk, if you get beat, I'm fine with you getting beat at this part of your drop, right? Like, I can predict this. I can do something with that, right? And I think sometimes people get it twisted. Sometimes offensive line play is about, hey, beating your man and being able to hold that dude for 3 seconds, everything else. But a lot of people can't do that. So if you can't do that, the second best thing is, all right, man, if you get beat, just do this. You know what I mean? Give me a wide angle to go outside, run your arc or do whatever you have to do to make sure that you buy yourself an extra half a second, because that's how, you get away with bad off. Like, how do you think Tom Brady got by all them years with left tackles you never heard of, because he's like, all right, man, look, if you get beat this way, I'm fine, but you cannot get beat this way. So overprotect for this. I don't care if he beats you inside. I could just bounce that way. For Jed, it might be, hey, overset inside. Don't get beat outside. But inside. But if he beats you outside, I don't care. Right? And it might be a situation where, and I feel bad for James Hudson, because the way he gets beat, he has no anchor. So he's not thrown in there a bowl against anybody who's good.
He gets power bombed. He's just jackknife.
Jed's got to figure out a way to get beat in more predictable ways for Deshaun to be able to anticipate it. And if he doesn't, I can see them saying, hey, man, is it really going to be that hard to draft somebody in the second round who doesn't get beat inside but does get beat outside? We can deal with that, right? Like, they're just going to have to pick their poison on what issues that they could deal with their tackle. And right now, Jed and Deshaun got to figure out a way to help each other.
Man, Q, it's been a good one. I'm not even going to ask you for a score, because I think we both got them winning. I got the Browns winning this game, Monday Night Football, easy money, right?
If the Browns lose this game, we're going to be talking about what the Browns didn't do right. Yeah. It's one of those games. They should win it. It's Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, I get it. We ain't done it in a while. But I remind people, it's not some kind of mythical reason why the Browns haven't beaten the Steelers in Pittsburgh. It's because those teams have sucked like the majority of the last 20 years. Like, that's why those teams just weren't good. Like, it don't matter what jersey you were wearing. If you went into Pittsburgh with Colt McCoy 3 times, you weren't winning. Like, so that's what those streaks are about. It's about the quality of team that headed into Pittsburgh in the past. This is a different team than those teams, much more talented. Doesn't guarantee you anything in the NFL, just being more talented. But, I don't think it's going to be some kind of long shot because of it. I think the Browns stand as good a chance as anybody getting out there in Pittsburgh and a win.
Make sure you go out and subscribe to the great Quincy Carrier. As always, we appreciate you, brother, for dropping in the barbershop, getting a cut with us, and we'll cut you next time, man.
All right, no problem, man. You have.
I want to thank our sponsor, Patreon. Patreon is a great way for fans to increase engagement with creators, get behind-the-scenes access, and help push the content their community is passionate about. If you're enjoying the quality content on the Barbershop YouTube channel, we encourage you to further support our cause by becoming a member on Patreon. Barbershop members on Patreon will enjoy a wide variety of exclusive members-only content. As a Barbershop member, you will have access to exclusive videos that you won't find on YouTube. You'll get live question and answer sessions, personalized birthday messages, discount barbershop merchandise, and special shout-outs. We'd like to say thank you to all of our new and existing Patreon members for their continued support. We would not be here without you. Join today by clicking the Patreon link in the description.